Hi, welcome back to Becoming a Home Cook. I'm Laura Onofre, and together we will go through the journey of home cooking. And today I'm going to be making something for a special occasion because every home cook needs to have a dish for every occasion. What is the occasion? My husband and I are celebrating our 7-year wedding anniversary. So, because of that, we're gonna have a blueberry and lemon scones. These are perfect for us because we love the flavors and it's a nice little treat, and I'm gonna be surprising him with this because he loves them. So let's get started. You will need 2 cups of all-purpose flour plus a little more for your hands and work surface, 6 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 2½ teaspoons of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of salt, the zest of 1 large lemon, half a cup of unsalted butter that's frozen, it needs to be frozen, half a cup of heavy cream, 1 large egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 cup of blueberries. And then for the glaze, we're gonna need 1 cup of powdered sugar and 2 to 3 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. Let's get started, but right before, I want to mention one good tip that I actually learned. It's a good idea to print out all of the recipes that you have used and you like, and put them in your own binder. It's not the most glamorous, but it's so useful. I have exactly what I like. There's about 20 recipes in here that I know I have tried and I like, and I've already worked through the mistakes, so I know exactly how to tweak them. So I have my recipe in here. So let's get started. For these blueberry lemon scones, we make first the scones and then the glaze. So let's start with the scones. You're gonna need 2 bowls. We're gonna start with our bowl of dry ingredients. We're gonna whisk them together. We're gonna have flour. We're gonna have our sugar, our baking powder, our salt, and we're also gonna have our lemon zest. I'm gonna go ahead and zest that right now. We're just gonna zest that. A very important tip that I found out, and this was after I made the mistake, of course, you don't wanna zest too far in, otherwise you get that bitter taste you don't want. So you just wanna zest literally the surface and get that nice taste that is fresh, that gives it a little pizzazz, but we do not want bitter. So remember to stop right before you hit that really white. So we're gonna whisk all the dry ingredients together. Let's go ahead and put this through a strainer. That's how we make sure all the ingredients, especially the baking powder, gets evenly spread out. If you get baking powder pieces that are not incorporated well, again, you'll have that bitter taste that baking powder often has. So it's good to make sure you run it through a strainer. Now we're gonna grate our frozen butter into the mixture. You wanna make sure it's frozen. That'll make it flaky, scone-like really. You don't want a scone that's not flaky. You can either mix this with a fork or you can use your finger. I'm not happy with the fork right now. It's not really coming together, so I'm gonna use my hands in the end. Kind of use the fork first and now the hands, just to get it more evenly spread out with the butter. All right, we set that aside, and now we're gonna get ready on our wet ingredients. So now we're gonna do our heavy cream, we're gonna do our egg, and we're gonna do our vanilla. Put that in there. That is our cream. And do our egg. Very nice. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Always smells so good. Okay, now we're gonna drizzle our wet ingredients over the dry with a rubber spatula. That way we can get everything out of it. We're gonna mix this in until everything is incorporated and everything seems moist. It's important to not overwork the dough. Okay, now we put our blueberries in here. And you're gonna wanna fold them in gently. Gently is the key. You do not want them to break open. If it does, it's not the worst thing. I've had that happen before. It's not the worst thing, but it's good if you can keep them intact, so then you have that burst of flavor when you do bite into them when they're done. So we're gonna get our cutting board and some flour for our hands. And for our cutting board, we're just gonna go ahead and spread that. Now we're gonna get our batter. Oops, I do not have enough flour on my hands. This is sticky. We're gonna push that down to about an 8-inch disc. Get our knife, very sharp knife, and we're gonna cut them into scones. What shape is a scone? A triangle. Just cut that. This again, you're gonna have to be careful to keep the blueberries intact. We're gonna transfer them onto our prepared baking sheet. I just put parchment paper on that. Make sure it doesn't stick. We are ready to put them in the oven and start baking. Let's pop that in. Remember, middle rack. Our recipe asks for 20 to 25 minutes. Now this is a little tip I like to use. I'll start with the 19 minutes. I'll start exactly 1 minute less than the lesser time. Because you can always add time, but what do you do if they're burnt? It's too late. So 19 minutes and we're ready to cook. Now, while the scones are cooking, let's make our glaze. We're gonna cut the lemon in half and we're gonna squeeze our lemon juice. Here in the recipe, it gives you a measurement of how much powdered sugar versus how much of the lemon juice. Really, I don't think you really need to go based off of that. You basically have to look at the consistency. Make sure to check that you have no seeds. I have no seeds in this lemon whatsoever, which is great. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna mix the powdered sugar in. So it looks like I finally have enough powdered sugar for the amount of lemon juice I have. You wanna make sure it gets that white color and it gets to this creamier consistency the way icing is. So it's not too runny and you see the nice glaze. I've taken them out of the oven. I've let them cool completely, which is key. Make sure you let them cool completely or the glaze will run and it will not make those nice glaze lines. So you need a transfer plate for where you're gonna do your glazing. Stir that glaze and you're gonna get nice little glaze lines like that. Oh yeah, that is right. That's when you get the right consistency. And then you transfer to your big plate. We have just glazed them all. Take a look. I'm gonna go ahead and try one. I think my husband will really like this. So good. You can see how that breaks up so nicely. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Becoming a Home Cook. Today we made these beautiful fresh blueberry lemon scones that are glazed. Make sure you join me next time on Thursday where we're gonna make a beef stew. That's perfect for the slow cooker. It's perfect for when you're busy because you put it in the morning and then it's done when you come home. See you next time on Becoming a Home